Okay, so we are back in the old master bath. This was tub right here, and we had a toilet here and a sink right there, and there was a radiator right there. What we're gonna do with this room is we're gonna make it into a laundry slash bathroom. So we'll still have a toilet there, but we'll replace this vent stack, and we're in the process of replacing the drain portion of the toilet. And then over here we'll have sink again, and then radiator will stay in the corner. Then over here we're going to have a combination washer dryer that it's kind of like the European style where it doesn't actually vent to the exterior when it does the drying. It uses a condenser to condense the moist air into just water droplets and then dumps it down the drain. So we don't have to have an exterior hole, but we ended up in this room having to actually tear out the old floor. The reason was, so what it used to be was a concrete slab on wooden joists, with a thick layer of mortar and tile set, and then tile. So it was the concrete slab was about 4 inches, and we couldn't just resurface the tile because someone had notched out big grooves for a tub to go right here in this corner, and then they had also, like with a sledgehammer, busted a hole in the corner right there to allow for plumbing to come up to the tub. That was in a remodel that happened sometime, I don't know, maybe 50s or something like that. But we couldn't just resurface it. We would have had to put down new subfloor on top of it. That would have thrown the levels off. We would have had the floor in here would have been like 1.5 inches higher than the floor in there. And that floor is already about 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch higher than the floor in the hallway, which is the original floor. So we decided to just rip it all out because it was in bad shape. And what I thought I was going to be able to do initially was just take the tile and the mortar and the thin set out. And it was, I mean, that was a good 1.5 inches. And I did that. I was able to scrape up and clean up the concrete subsurface. But after I scraped up all the tile and mortar, I found that over here in this corner, you can see that there's a big hole in the wall right here. That's where they busted out brick to let in this vent stack for the toilet. Reason that they had to do that probably is that in the 1870s version of this house, they probably did not have indoor plumbing. And then when they remodeled it in 1908, they put plumbing in. So that this section of the wall was brick from the 1870s. You can definitely tell a difference in the brick quality from there to there, because this over here is part of the new remodel, and this is the old brick. So they probably notched out and then tied in. You can also see kind of a straight vertical mortar line right there, which isn't normal for construction. They typically don't like having bricks lined up vertically. It's not stable. So anyways, they busted out this brick, but in the process, the floor joists were running the same direction I have right here, but there were only 2 that were running this way, and then the rest of the floor joists in the room were running this way. And you can see, you might be able to see, there are these little notches cut in the brick right here and right there, and there's another spot right here. Those are let-ins. So when you have joists into brick, you have to have a let-in slot for the joist to rest on top of the brick and be sturdy in the spot. So the let-ins on this side were compromised when they notched out for the vent stack. And so when we took up after I took up the mortar and tile, I could see all that. And then when we started busting out the concrete, because we needed a more level floor, the joists actually gave way while I was standing on the joists, which is about a 12-foot drop down to that floor. And that floor is not all the way secured. So then I could have also, I mean, and with all the weight of everything that's up here that would have been dropping down, would have been another 8 feet. So it probably would have been a pretty bad day if we had not noticed that and just slowly and methodically taken everything out. And it's worth mentioning that probably one of the main things that was holding up the floor that I was standing on, all that concrete and tile and everything, was, you can see underneath the floor there's some 2x4s. I can actually stand on them and show you. So we've got, this is the main floor structure, and then down here is, this is a drop ceiling. Normally we just have the ceiling up here, but this is a drop ceiling so that there's a lot more space here and you don't have to heat and condition as much space in the bathroom below us. Well, that drop ceiling was holding up the floor in here, at least in this corner. All the joists over there were let into the wall, so they were not unsupported. But on this side over here, yeah, it was all being held up by that drop ceiling. So we've got everything tied in properly. Everything is very sturdy and anchored into the brick correctly now. Anchored into the rest of the subfloor, and it's leveled at the same level as these floor joists for the rest of the floor. And so we're in business to continue on with this project and actually rebuild the structure of this floor so that it doesn't fall 20 feet down and kill someone. All right, that's it for the update. And sorry I haven't uploaded more videos recently. It's been a pretty busy spring and summer. So look forward to showing you guys more of what we've been doing here, and see you next time.